I want you to think about the last three professional conversations that you had. Maybe it was a networking event, maybe it was a Zoom call, or maybe it was just a quick chat by the office coffee machine. There's one thing that I can almost guarantee, and that is that they probably followed the exact same boring script. Hello, how are you? I'm good. And you? Good, good. So, what do you do? Oh, I'm in marketing. Oh, nice. How long have you been there? By the end of that 2 minute exchange, do you actually know that person? Or did you just collect a few data points that you'll forget by the time you meet the next person? Most of us are walking around with a massive pile of data points but zero actual connection. We focus on the what, that we completely ignore the who. Today, we are talking about how to break that script. We are tackling the connection gap, that wall that stays up when conversations feel like a transaction rather than a human connection. I'm going to share one simple word that can pivot a boring, predictable chat into something memorable. And that's not all. I'll not only show you how to use it in real life situations, but we are going to work out. I'm going to give you a communication muscle exercise that you can do in under 60 seconds to make sure your words land with impact. Just 60 seconds and you're sorted. Let's get started. I met somebody recently and he gave me such a beautiful analogy about networking that I'm tempted to share it here. So he said, and I quote, networking is like a bad first date. You know what happens on a first date? You both reciting your resumes at each other. Both are trying to impress the other person. And you're hoping that the other person thinks you're wow. And what happens at a bad date? Nothing. Why? Because in a date, you're generally asking for facts. So, what do you do? Where do you live? What are your hobbies? These are safe questions, factual questions. But safe is also another word for forget it by the time I reach my car. When you ask someone a factual question, their brain goes into an autopilot. They give you the same responses that they are giving to 500 other people, which also means they will forget you just like they will forget those other 500 people. It's a script, and scripts don't build relationships. So, what's the solution? How do we break this pattern? It's not complicated. We stop asking about the role and start asking about the person. Hear me again. Whenever we're talking to someone, we ask them, what do you do? We're not asking what kind of a person they are. So when we stop asking about the role and start talking about the person, that's when we build connections. There's a simple shift I want you to try. Instead of asking for a fact, try adding this one word which will create a world of difference in your relationships. The word is love. Not the ishq wala love, the other love. Let me explain. I saw this change everything for a startup founder whom I worked with recently. He was brilliant at his job, but small talk, that wasn't his cup of tea. And he needed to meet a lot of investors. And with investors, he needed to do a lot of small talk. And this is something he struggled with. He felt his conversations were dry. He could never really connect with people. I told him to try one simple change, and that worked like magic. So instead of asking someone about their project, instead of saying, "What are you working on right now?" change your question. Say, "What do you love about what you're working on right now?" The word love is a massive pattern breaker, just like a splash of cold water in a boring room. It forces the other person to stop the autopilot response. It forces the other person to actually look inward. Suddenly, they're not just a professional, they're a human being. A human being who loves solving puzzles or helping their team grow. When people talk about what they love, they are energized. And because you were the one who energized them, you were the one who made them feel that spark, they are 10 times more likely to truly listen to you when you start speaking. So, what you made right now by using the word love is a psychological move and a strategically psychological powerful move. Did you like this strategy? If you find these kind of psychological shifts helpful, you should find me on Instagram at Communicate101. The cheeky me does not post too many reels. You'll see very few reels, but you'll see lots of stories, and those you can follow only when you're following me. A study on social fluency shows that people are 70% more likely to remember a conversation if it involved an emotional hook rather than a factual exchange. So, by using the word love and building your value bridge, you're not just talking, you're creating a memory. And that is why it works. You must try it out and then tell me how it worked for you. Well, here I know we have limitations. We can't see each other. This is an audio podcast, right? But even then, let me give you an audio workout training. Let's build a little communication muscle right here, right now. Let's try something called the value bridge drill. Just follow along with me. Your first step, think about one thing that you do at work. For example, if, if you ask me, I would say, I coach people on communication. Now, your turn. What is your what? What do you do? Say it aloud. Right? You've said it. I haven't heard it, but you've said it. Got it. Good. Now, step number 2. Imagine my answer was, I coach people on communication. Your immediate reaction was, so what? How does it work for me? Exactly. That is where most people stop. But this is where real communication begins. I need to bridge what I do to why it matters to you. So instead of saying I coach people on communication, if I say I help people think clearly so that they can speak confidently. So now you're thinking, okay, that could actually help me. If I say I coach people on communication, that is all about me. It is not about others. When I say I help people think clearly so that they can speak confidently, now there is something for the others. This is a bridge statement. So now go back to your example. You said what you do. Now tell me why what you do should matter to me. Say what you do. Now add how what you do matters to me. Wherever you are, just say it aloud. Done, right? Good. Now, add one small transformational word. You remember what that was? Yes, love. Now, add love to your statement. For example, if you ask me, Sarika, what do you do? I'll say, I coach people on communication. I help people think clearly so that they can speak confidently. And I love it because so many people who struggle with it think it's so complicated. And when I show them it's a cakewalk, they love it. Did you see the difference? What difference love did to the entire sentence? Now it's time that you say your statement. When you add love, you notice how it changes. Your voice probably became a little steadier, a little warmer. And that's the sound of genuine confidence. I've spent over 25 years working with CEOs, founders, professionals, and one thing is clear. Confidence is not about being louder. It's about being certain that what you're saying actually matters. In fact, that's actually the core of my online course, which is upcoming, How to Become the Most Confident Version of Yourself. It's 25 years of my experience condensed into a program that teaches you how to find that most confident version of yourself. We don't do fake it till you make it. We do the real work. Real work of articulation and connection so that you can show up as yourself. But better of yourself. Better version of yourself. Communication is not complicated. If you have the right guidance, you can nail it efficiently every single time. If your conversations feel transactional, it's probably you're asking transactional questions. So break the script. Use the word love. Build your value bridge. You'll find that when you connect first, everything else, the pitches, the collaborations, everything becomes much easier. If you're enjoying these deep dives, I did an entire episode previously on how to say no. You should probably check it out if you feel like you're overcommitting because you can't find the right words to set a boundary. And for the real-time witty stuff, come to my Instagram, Communicate 101, my absolute best, absolute unfiltered hacks go in my Insta stories. I share lots of raw stuff that actually moves the needle. In the next episode, we are going to talk about a major make it or break window. You have 5 seconds. 5 seconds is what you have. We'll talk about this tiny window that you have to capture someone's attention before they check their phone and before they have that loo break. I'll also share how to win those first 5 seconds every single time. This is Communicate 101, where we make communication simple so that it actually works. Until then, keep it real, keep it clear, and keep practicing the transformational word, love. I love to see you in the next episode of your favorite communication skills podcast, where you build your communication muscle sitting at home. Thank you for listening to this episode of Communicate 101 Speaking Writing Tips with Sarika Singh. If you want to be notified of upcoming episodes, be sure to hit the subscribe button and follow the podcast. I'll be back to share more stories, more life experiences, and more communication tips every Friday. If you want to reach me or connect with me, just put your comments in the comment box below or mail me at info@sarikasingh.in. I know you're going to rate and review this podcast, so a big thank you in advance. Stay tuned and think about what we talked today.